I'm Andre, and this is Osteo. Welcome to my chaotic corner where I talk knitting, spinning, fiber arts, whatever else crazy shit I come up to. Um, I had recorded a June episode. Once again, I didn't, well, I did eventually do the May one, but I did not edit or post the June one, and honestly, it's probably for the best. June was madness, like pure madness. Um, I feel like I say every month is chaos, and June, life decided to say, hey, hold my beer. And yeah, we'll talk about it later. Anyways, I kind of lost track of whatever I was tracking, whatever goals I had, and I'm just trying to kind of start fresh. As I said, June was insane, and I had severe cast-onitis, and I just went with it. Yeah. If I've missed anything, I don't know. We'll probably revisit it at some point. I do have one finished object, a spontaneous cast on during the month of June, because that apparently was the theme of June. I started a Squall Cowl by Lisa Much and finished it. Oh, there's the bottom. So we have a narrow tube at the top. It becomes wider and wider and is basically this lovely squishy garter and lace combo, made with a super bulky yarn. I used Debbie Bliss Winter Garden, which is long discontinued. It is a wool, llama, flax, and silk yarn. You can see the lovely flecks of color from the sari silk in there. This was the oldest, at least documented, yarn in my stash. To give you an idea how old it is, the local yarn store that I bought it from has, since the time that I purchased that yarn, moved, changed ownership, and then moved again. So I'm very happy to get those 2 balls of yarn out of my stash. I need to remember to post it in Stash Down Diaries Elder Stash Knit Along. I extended the cowl a little bit just so I could finish it off. But this will be a lovely squishy cowl that I can give off to somebody or maybe keep for myself. I don't know. But it has that bulk without being overly hot, I think because of that linen blend in there. Yeah. Very fun, easy knit. And yay for using up old stash. That is the only finished thing I have here. I do have, oh gosh. Yeah, so I signed up for 2 test knits. One was a sock pattern by Things Beth Makes, and this pattern actually released today on day of recording, which is July 2nd. The pattern is the Flicker Step socks. I decided to do mine using self-striping yarn. So the main color is a self-striping yarn from Timber Yarns, and the contrast is amethyst ink by Yarns from Heaven. So both of these are leftover yarns that I had in my stash that now find a new life in a colorwork sock. I did adapt the pattern, so the heel is supposed to be in the main color, but given that I was using a self-striping yarn, this seemed like a more natural fit. I have this really fun checkerboard pattern for the sole of the foot and this sort of brick type pattern. All of the testers had totally different color choices, and this pattern worked out in every single color combo. It was really, really fun. I do still need to make the second sock, but very pleased with how this turned out. This is going to be a gift for a friend. So that was one test I was working on. I guess I'm still working on because I do have to eventually make the second sock. My other test is ongoing. It is the Black Bat cardigan by Ariana Frasca. It is very different from the Black Bat sweater that I did last year. So let's make heads and tails of this. There we go. I have just split for the sleeves on this. It's going to be hard to show anything because it is black yarn. But there we go. You can see the lace design that is on either side of the button placket. We have bonus cat hair. There's twisted rib on either side of the sleeve, and going down the middle of the back, showing off texture in black is awesome. But yes, I just recently split for the sleeves. There's just a little bit done there. The yarn I'm using is Osteo Merino Alpaca in DK weight. Unfortunately, this yarn is discontinued. Really unfortunately, because I really like this yarn. I used the same base for my Lawrenson sweater last year, and it just has that perfect combination of like the structure of merino with like the softness and floof of alpaca. I know that Estelle has other like wool and alpaca blends, but I haven't squished them to see how they compare with this one. But I really love my Lawrenson, and even working with this, it's so soft. And my Lawrenson has like worn quite well. It hasn't pilled very much. It hasn't gotten all floppy. So hoping for the same outcome, because I wear black cardigans to death. I always need a black cardigan. So very appropriate for my wardrobe. Okay. I was working on the Manderley socks, at least for a time period. I believe the last time I showed these, I was still working on the cuff. So cuff's done, leg's done, it's a short leg, and I've started on the heel flap. Where's the other sock? Well, that's interesting. Okay, well, the other sock has to be somewhere. Okay. For July, since Tour de Fleece is starting up this weekend, I decided that my July theme would be spinning, obviously, and also knitting with hand spun. So, yet another cast on. I have cast on the Attune shawl by Andrew Mowry using 2 of my hand spuns. So this is the right side, there's brioche and a broken fisherman's rib. On the wrong side, shows the green off a lot more. This is my hand spun, made out of the Akara Rose winter solstice box, plus other braids that I had in the same base. So right now I'm using these two together. The shawl has a second section that is in garter. So I'm planning on using these two until I run out. I might bring in, I've got sort of a tealy blue one to finish out the second one. But I want to do the garter with that tealy blue and the pink that I have spun in, again, the same fiber base. And this is so soft. I'm really enjoying working with this yarn, and I'm pretty darn impressed with myself. Like, I am so happy with how these yarns turned out. It is really giving me more of an appreciation of my spinning. It's, you know, those moments where you're like, holy shit, like, I made this. This is awesome. Yeah. I clearly need to knit with my hand spun more. And I don't even remember at what state my book hexie thing was the last time I showed it, but there are definitely more hexies on here. So I've got a little central flower and a little offshoot. We've got something a little weird going on. This was my first hexie, and there were definitely some mistakes. So I'm hoping that some things will block out eventually. If not, it's a blanket. It doesn't really matter. But this is the most recent book I finished. The Wrath and the Dawn. I don't even know what else has gone in here. Tituba is here. And this is All That Is Wicked. I believe all of the others I've shown. Very fun, very colorful. And I love using up scraps. Each time I use a color is about 1 gram, plus or minus. And I have so much fingering weight scrap that I have quite a lot of color choices when I need them. So for this month, I'm going to be continuing to work on the black bat, obviously the Attune shawl, and I'm going to be spinning. Now, I don't have any like really specific spinning goals. I want to finish up some spins that I have going on right now. I have a spin going on my Turkish spindle. I have a spin going on my drop spindle. And I got a supported spindle at the Muskoka Fiber Fest, which of course I had to play with right away. So I do want to finish those up. I also have stuff spun up for my e-spinner and my kiwi that I haven't plied. So that needs to be done. But the main thing I want to do is spin through this alpaca fiber that I got from a local farm last year. I'm actually halfway through it. I had about 500 grams and I have about 250 grams left. I brought one of the Ziplocs with this fiber, but here it is. So this is from Star the Alpaca. As you can see, there's a mix of white and this really lovely like chestnutty brown. But because it is a little dusty, I am going to spin it outside so I can leave the dust outside. And it's just so pleasant to be outside listening to the birds and just, I live on a dead-end street, so it's really quiet and there's a lot of nature around. So I want to finish spinning these bats. I also have, so I brought my supported spindle. I just grabbed whatever, some random fiber, which ended up being 100% alpaca from a Provenance Yarns subscription. So just white alpaca. Perhaps not the best choice to learn supported spindle on, but I do feel like I'm starting to get the hang of it. So, whew, I've already spun one ply, but this is the second ply of that alpaca right now. You can kind of see what the spindle looks like. There is certainly a learning curve in learning the supported spindle, but yeah, I think I've got the hang of it. It feels like the more portable type of spindle, at least of all the ones that I have. And I'm just full on head over heels with spinning and so very much enjoying exploring the many ways that spinning comes in. So I'll be spinning the alpaca, finishing up whatever existing projects I have, and especially if I'm craving a bit of color, a little bit of fun, I think I might dive into the braids I got in a Fiber Goddess Summer Solstice box. So I got 3 braids as part of that box. So they are Morning After, The Storm Breaks, and Summer Storm. And I think I'm going to spin each of these as a separate skein of yarn and kind of keep this gradient. Yeah. So I'll definitely be busy. Like I mentioned, I did go to the Muskoka Fiber Fest. That was on June 21st in Bracebridge. On the same day, there was a fiber festival in Parry Sound, which I attended as well. Not a lot of yarn purchases, so I did get my supported spindle and this handy little case from Top of the Whirl. I got 2 skeins of yarn. So this is Bring Me the Monet from Pretty Strings. Very bright and colorful, and I think this is hilarious. I went all the way to Bracebridge to buy yarn from the Frosted Stitch, who I see all the time. But I've been eyeing this yarn. Let me, color isn't right here. So this is a Maelstrom. It was a color from one of the pirate boxes a couple of years ago. This is on worsted weight. It's been sitting in her ready to ship for ages, and I've been eyeing it for ages. And I think finally seeing it at the yarn festival and being able to grab it with my hands, yeah, it came home with me. Went all the way to Bracebridge just to come all the way back to Sudbury. There were also plenty of fiber purchases. I got 2 braids from Three Dog Knits. I got a fiber bat from Hypnotized. I got a merino angora bat from Glenacre Angora. Also got this beautiful Gotland fiber from Bittersweet Farms from a sheep called Alice. It is this beautiful gray shade, natural fiber color, and just absolutely lovely. So it was a great fiber-filled weekend. I don't need to show all of the fiber I brought home, but it was definitely a more fiber-heavy festival as opposed to bringing home yarn, and that is totally what I expected. It being my first festival that I attended since I started spinning. And I think that's really it. Very much looking forward to Tour de Fleece. Very much looking forward to the second half of this year because the first half was just wild. Yeah. Long story short, within the first 2 weeks of June, both of my parents and my father-in-law were in the hospital. Everybody's fine now. It's all good. But for that period, it was just pure and utter chaos. My mom, I had to go with her out of town for her to have surgery, and this is in addition to her ongoing cancer treatments. So yeah, that was an unexpected twist. My mom is doing very well. Last week she had her last chemo treatment. We're looking at surgery towards the end of the month, and everything is looking very positive. So, good news. Yeah. Beyond that, it's just been like survival mode, unfortunately, which I'm hoping that with so many of these things kind of dying down and being quieter, knock wood, I'm hoping that I will have some time to just kind of rest and recover. And I think Tour de Fleece kind of gives me a really good excuse for that, because spinning is just so restful and restorative for me, and having the extra motivation and like the spinning community is just so nice. It's so friendly, and I love kind of like diving into the world of yarn construction and fiber types, and yeah. So that's really what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to getting to more normal, whatever that is. Yeah. Well, hopefully I won't be going on any long hiatuses again, but I hope everybody's well, that you have survived the month of June, and that the second half of the year is looking better for you wherever you are. Let me know if you are going to be participating in Tour de Fleece, if you have any plans, if maybe you might try your hand at spinning. Go for it. It's great. Okay, that's all I've got. Take care. Wishing you all the best. Bye-bye.